grandfather. Now I know that a lot of you have ideas about what Armageddon is supposed to be, and that it is supposed to be, for that matter. I just want to let you know that there's a simple way to know when third-dimensional Earth is coming to an end in terms of when human beings live on third-dimensional Earth. And here's the year, 2443. So you have a long time yet. I do not normally comment on matters that are associated with religion, but there has been a reason to do so and several questions, and I want to honor those. Many times people jump to conclusions about how to interpret this or that holy document. But you have to remember that holy documents have been written by the people of those times, perhaps thousands of years ago, and literally for the people about 100 years in the future from those times. It might interest you to know that the idea of Armageddon came along because early Christians believed that they were going to be rescued from the planet, and that as a portion of that rescue, those who were harming them, and there were those, would somehow be punished. But by way of punishment, it simply meant to them at that time that they would not be rescued, and that whatever would befall Earth, they would inherit. That's really it in a nutshell. Again, I don't like to comment on these things, and I also don't really like to reveal things that are meant to be secret. But I feel that there are people now, a great many people, who believe that Armageddon is upon you, or practically. And many of these people are confusing the Mayan calendar with the epic of being that is this or that religion. Now I understand that Armageddon is associated with the Christian religion, but other religions have other words for the same thing. And it's you that I'm talking to, people of religion, people who have deep beliefs about Creator, not unlike the channel here, and people who believe that Armageddon is going to happen real quick, but it's way off into the future, and it won't be what those ancients predicted it would be. It will be much more inclusive. It will be something that welcomes benevolent beings from the stars, as well as welcomes angelics, as well as welcomes all beings on earth. The work that I've been doing here through the channel for these past few hundreds of videos, to say nothing of the writing on the written blogs, is all to help you to migrate literally towards those times and to pass it on to your children if you see fit, so that you and everybody else on the earth can have a good life. When you look at it, scientifically or even from a social standpoint, there are a great many people on earth, And there are good arguments being made by people that Earth can only support so many folks. But there are things in the works, as I've been talking about here for a while. It is possible, through the use of benevolent forms of magic, which is why this YouTube site is called Benevolent Magic, and you'll find that term in other places, especially on the written blogs. There is a reason that it's called that, and the reason is true benevolent magic has everything to do with the heavens. Yes, with the stars. Yes, with other planets of benevolent beings who you would recognize as human beings like yourselves. And yes, it has to do with Creator and creation. Otherwise, this channel, this being, who has very high standards indeed, would not allow any of it to be published, printed, or put on YouTube. This is not here, this video, this talk today, is not here to say how wonderful we all are and how lucky you are to have these videos. None of that. Strictly, it's about you and what I feel you need to know now. Understand that the end of the world is about the change of the world, not about some horrible fighting thing where one religion fights another and says that we're on God's side, and then the other religion says, no, we're on God's side. I can assure you, God does not want you to kill, maim, or hurt anyone. God is entirely about love. God is not about harm nor hurt. I know that there are many stories in ancient texts that speak of how God rescued this or that group of people. And those stories have been elaborated on a bit by human beings of the past and are still being elaborated on a bit by human beings in these times. And most of that is purely innocent and not meant to harm anybody, but for the most part, that elaboration has been entirely for children, because children very often like things to be exciting and adventurous. So this elaboration happened for children. But it's not meant for adults to take it seriously. It's all right to tell children's stories to children, and to understand that holy documents written for any religion are entirely written, initially at the very least, and supported by a creator of this universe who is entirely about love and wants you all to have a wonderful life, and would like you to start by being kind to your fellow beings, no matter what their religion may be. So I want to make a request here. I grant it might be a little beyond the purview of this website here, this youtube.com benevolent magic, as well as the written blogs. But I'd like to request that the religions of the world get together, both formally and informally, and take note of the points they agree upon in each other's writings, especially those things that talk about Creator. I'd like that to happen on the formal level. I'm recommending it, all right. On the formal level between the hierarchies of these religions, and also on the informal level between just regular folks. All right? That's what I'd like to recommend. I think when you discover how very much you have in common, religiously, as well as person to person, you'll be able to get along better. Remember, even though there are things that say in old writings that this group or that group is the chosen people or the chosen ones, and only they can go up and be rescued, it's not like that. It's meant for you all. I assure you, Creator would not allow you as souls to be on a planet where you weren't all meant to be loved by Creator, to be loved by angels, to be loved by your guides, and without the intention that you be loved in the most benevolent way by each other. Please excuse this. It is, perhaps you might think, quite an effrontery to address the religions, but I feel it's necessary. And I know there are a great many of you in different religions who completely agree with this, and those of you also who've studied religion and taken note of how very much they have in common. Please get together and discover that as well. These are wonderful times coming. They are going to be a time when you discover that you are earth people, that you're not only German people, that you're not only Argentinian people, that you're not only Islamic people or Jewish people or Christian people, but that you are earth people, not just Americans, not just Mexicans, not just Canadians, but specifically earth people. And that time will be here before you know it. I can assure you, people from other planets whom you will like to meet and who will look just like you are looking forward to meeting you. And they think of you, every single one of you, as earth people, not as people of this or that religion, not as people of this or that country, but as earth people. And they can't wait to meet you, because to them, you are their cousins, their brothers, their sisters, their family. May you all be family now in the most benevolent way. Good life.